From our studios in New York, here again is Tom Brokaw.
It's part of the American life these days. You head down to the video store to hunt down your entertainment for the evening. What do you rent? Maybe a film a friend recommended. Maybe an Academy Award winner you never saw. But what if you find out later that the critically acclaimed film you brought home is now illegal in your community? The police want it off the shelf and out of your VCR. Here's Rob Safford.
This man is angry about a movie.
To confiscate your copy of the Tin Drum.
He's not singing A Christmas Carol, and he's definitely not singing the praises of the police.
It is a work of art.
It's embarrassing. People cannot watch or possess even the Tin Drum without fear of arrest and prosecution.
Hi. You guys want to sign our petition with us here?
This man is also angry about the movie, but his pitch in a lower key is more folksy than grunge rock.
We're taking a stand against illegal obscenity and child pornography in our community. Where are you from?
The Marshall Islands?
Do you have pornography on the Marshall Islands?
No.
No.
Oh, good. All right.
Oklahoma City, forever remembered for the worst act of terrorism on U.S. soil, is back in the headlines again. But this is not a story about the bombing. Now this conservative city in the heartland is the center of a fierce constitutional fight. A battle over something our founding fathers never contemplated 2 centuries ago. A videotape. This videotape. The Tin Drum, which won the Academy Award for Best Foreign Film in 1979, is a German movie about a boy so horrified by adult behavior during the period before World War II that he stunts his own physical growth by throwing himself down a flight of stairs. Prejudice, oppression, and violence are seen through the eyes of a child. Although it's not what would be considered hardcore pornography, the film does contain 2 suggestive scenes between the boy and a 16-year-old girl. They appear to be having oral sex. And in this bedroom scene, we can't show you what happens next either. It's also too graphic for network television. But access to the very same material in video stores and libraries is your choice. Or is it?
We should be able to have a ban on something which causes great harm to us as a nation, morally and spiritually.
Should an Academy Award-winning film be banned?
Excuse me? Would you be seated while I listen to this point of order?
And who gets to decide? 2 decades after its release, the Tin Drum is dividing Oklahoma City.
You get 5 more seconds. Excuse me, sir.
This man's being confrontational.
Library meetings that used to be quiet are now loud with debate over obscenity and censorship.
They want to control the sites presented, and that is censorship. I wrap myself today in free speech, free expression of ideas. We are not the same. The public is not the same. Thank you.
For years, the Tin Drum, rated R, gathered dust on video store shelves throughout Oklahoma City. Its one library copy wasn't doing big business either, says Library Executive Director Lee Bronner.
Have you seen the movie? Oh, yes, I have. It's an unusual film. It may not be for everyone, but it's certainly not an obscene film.
Do you think a child should be able to rent this movie?
Absolutely. It should be available to anyone.
I think that was clearly child pornography. That was 2 children under the age of 18 involved in a sexual situation. Good morning.
Bob Anderson is president of the Oklahomans for Children and Families. OCAF has been fighting sexually explicit businesses and pornography since 1984.
We have to protect our children from sexual abuse, sexual violence. If we find a magazine or a video or anything that we think is in violation of our obscenity laws or child pornography laws, we turn it over to the police.
Which is what he did last June after he heard about the Tin Drum for the first time. He gave the library's copy to the police, who watched the scenes in question, then brought the video to Judge Richard Freeman.
They said, Judge, here's a movie we'd like you to look at and tell us if you think it's obscene. I watched that one scene and said, yep, sure is.
Although the tin drum was judged illegal in Oklahoma City, district attorneys in nearby Tulsa and Norman said it was not child pornography. In fact, the Tulsa DA said it's a very real possibility Judge Freeman's ruling will be declared unconstitutional.
Well, that's his opinion.
Do you think that this statute was designed to stop movies like the Tin Drum?
Well, this community is entitled to have the law enforced as it's written by the legislature, and that's what it did.
Judge Freeman's verbal opinion came without any hearing.
No one was allowed to come to the defense of the Tin Drum. This is the United States of America.
But under Oklahoma law, the judge said, a movie is automatically child pornography when a participant in a sex act appears to be 17 or younger.
Maria? Wie alt bist du? 16 geworden. Ich auch.
Do you have any evidence that any child has ever been harmed by watching the Tin Drum?
Whether the child is harmed has nothing to do with it. If all these children are looking at this and being exposed to it, they're going to try these things out. I just believe, Rob, that 8-10 years downstream, our sex crimes are going to skyrocket.
For anyone to excerpt 3 minutes from a 2-hour and 20-minute movie and make a declaration about it that has the force of law, now that might be obscenity.
Backed by the judge's informal ruling, the police immediately confiscated all copies of the Tin Drum from the city's video stores. But that was only the beginning. According to 5 store managers, police demanded they turn over their rental lists, which is against industry policy and an apparent violation of the Video Privacy Protection Act.
One of the officers had told me that this would be a stupid thing to go to jail over.
Store manager Eric Stewart faced an agonizing dilemma.
To either be arrested and let out of the store to jail in front of my customers or to give them the customer information. I chose not to be arrested.
Plainclothes police and unmarked cars then went to the homes of at least 3 movie renters. One was Michael Camfield, the musician we met earlier. At 9:40 on a quiet June night, Camfield was startled by a knock on his door. When they first identified themselves as police officers, what went through your mind?
Well, I really thought that something terrible had happened.
When they told him they came for his video, Camfield felt momentary relief.
I thought, okay, this is just about a videotape.
A videotape, nevertheless, he believed he had the right to watch, and he said so.
It became obvious to me that they weren't going anywhere in spite of my objections. They were still standing on my doorstep and still waiting for that videotape.
So reluctantly, he handed over the film. A film that, in an irony not lost on Camfield, is about the rise of Nazism and the fall of freedom in pre-war Germany. Did they show you a warrant?
They did not show me a warrant.
Were you intimidated?
I was intimidated. I thought they might come into my home, and I thought I could have been taken to jail.
The police got what they came for, but they also got more than they bargained for when they knocked on Michael Camfield's door. As it turns out, he's not just a rock and roller.
Good afternoon, ACLU of Oklahoma.
You heard right, the ACLU. Police had unwittingly made a house call to a top official in Oklahoma's American Civil Liberties Union, a man who reads the Constitution for a living, a man who knows his rights.
I want to vindicate the Tin Drum. I want the court system to determine, as I think it will, that this is not child pornography.
In July, Camfield sued Oklahoma City's police and district attorney for violation of his constitutional rights, including his freedom of expression and freedom from unreasonable search and seizure.
It's fortunate that I was in a position to challenge this particular activity and to let people know about it.
And it's precisely the way the police reacted, some say overreacted, that has fueled passions here in Oklahoma City, where they like their oil fields large and their government small. The notion of Big Brother watching what Oklahomans watch has even longtime conservatives riled up.
It certainly struck me as an abuse of police authority.
News Talk 1000, KTOK presents Open Mic Live.
Conservative Oklahoma talk show host Mike McCarville is normally a big police booster.
I don't care how many badges you've got or how many commissions you got hanging on your wall at home, you cannot go into a place of business and demand records that are essentially private.
What puzzled McCarville and many of his listeners was why the police needed to go to any homes at all. Why not simply wait a day or two for the videos to be returned?
What was their rush? I've asked the question on the air a jillion times. I've never gotten an answer.
Police officials would not come on McCarville's show to explain their actions, nor did they respond to several interview requests by Dateline. But in a statement, the Oklahoma City police chief said the video stores voluntarily gave up their tapes, and plainclothes officers also went to some homes. No seizures were made, as all copies were voluntarily given to the police. With the ban, it's now a felony to possess the tin drum anywhere in Oklahoma City, in private homes, video stores, and libraries.
We're talking about one movie. What's the harm of just pulling it off the shelf?
The harm is that you start the riptide of anyone coming in to ask that materials be removed because they happen to find them offensive or they don't care for them.
So for now, at least in Oklahoma City, the movie morality of Oklahomans for children and families has prevailed.
Here's a copy of the tin drum that we rented in New York, and this is what it says on the label.
Good. Currently banned in Oklahoma, USA.
How do you feel about that?
I'm not embarrassed. We do not want children molested, abused.
A lot of people in the community have decided that they don't want this particular group to decide what they can see. I think a ban makes us look very foolish in the eyes of the rest of the world.
On Christmas Eve, a federal judge ruled the police seizure of the tin drum was unconstitutional. The film could be returned to store shelves before the trial, which is set for April, a trial that will determine whether the movie actually is child pornography under Oklahoma law. Michael Camfield's lawsuit against Oklahoma City's police and district attorney is scheduled to be tried at the same time.